Hi and welcome in this video. In this video I'm gonna show you how you can install a functional 1.6 server directly from Valve, not from some packages and so on, directly the newest and best version, how you can install the newest version of Raeyid, ReHDLS and so on a Linux server, which is from you, self-managed, not a game server, where you have full control, cheaper prices and mostly also fast download, free included, because you can just do it with Apache or NGX, just with any web server. And a lot of other benefits like MySQL. You can basically install anything and you just pay a quarter of the price of a game server. So the first thing what you need is of course a host from Linux for a Linux server. It doesn't matter really which distros. You can use Debian, you can use Ubuntu. In this case I use Ubuntu 24.04, and it doesn't matter also which host you use. In this case I'm using Hetzner, as you can see, and the first thing what we do is login. Now after I logged in, you can see the project window on the Hetzner cloud. In your case, if you have Hetzner and you use it the first time, you can just create a new project, type something as a name, press on create resources on servers, and then basically just select what I'm about to show you. But for my case I'm gonna use the Endless United project since I already have it. And yeah, I have by the way also a Discord server and other servers you can join, link in the description. Now when you go here and you have this view, you basically press on servers, add server, then you can choose a location. In this case I just chose EU Central, in this case German. I'm gonna choose Ubuntu. For this type I'm gonna choose shared CPU. This basically means that hardware resources you see here, for example shared CPUs, RAM, SSD, traffic, is not dedicated. Dedicated means that it's actually 100% on you attached. But for now on, for this test and for January, if you just want 1.6 server, this is more than enough. And then I will choose as SHA key, so I don't have always to type a password, the Endless United key, that's my key. You can of course create your own key and entity here, but I will go for Endless United. And that's it. Then you press create and buy now, and your server is getting created. Now after the server is created, you can click on it and you can see here is the IP. You can also see on the status it's online. And what we basically need is just the IP, since we're using our SSH key. If you don't enter the SSH key, you would now get, at least in Hetzner case, but in 99% of other hosts, you either get it on the dashboard or somewhere as an email, the username and the password, which you need for login. In this case, we don't have to because we use a key. I recommend you to download now Windscape. Windscape is basically an app where you can see the remote server in a visual style, the server structures like folders, files and so on. Just how you would see the Windows folders and basically the Windows Explorer. And let me show you how it looks like. This is basically it. The folders and everything you see, it's not on my Windows PC, it's on my Linux server. So these folders and this structure are on my Linux server. Now why would be this useful additional to the SHA? I mostly use Windscape or general SFTP. This is a SFTP by the way. Terminal is SSH and this is a SFTP. Mostly I use this just for getting a feeling what the structure of the server is, where the files are on my eyes, because on the terminal it maybe looks, especially for beginner, more like complicated. And additionally, if you have to, for example, one file and you just need to move it, or you need the exactly opposite, like for example renaming fast, moving it back, and as you can see I instant downloaded it from my server and it's here. On such cases, Windscape or general SFTP are really beneficial because you can pretty fast do small changes. However, in the most cases, if you have a big server or a lot of stuff you have to change, or systemd services and so on, you have always to use SSH. Now I'm copying the IP and open PowerShell. Which PowerShell we can basically connect to the Linux server when you type here your username and here server IP. So for my case, we will use the following command, which is ssh -i. Here is the path of my SSH key location. You, of course, if it's different, you have to just basically paste inside this your location, then it's root. In the most server it's just root and the server IP, which is also already entered, and then you simply press tab. Now it asks you for the fingerprint, yes, and now you on your server you can type htop for see all processes. It's also a useful command. You can see the two drivers I have, or vCPU, that's actually just one physically CPU core, and here you can see the process mostly which takes the most CPU. In this case it's pretty empty because we just have yet nothing installed. One of the first thing before you do anything is mostly just first updating your system, and after you update, this means you downloaded all the new stuff, you upgraded it. Because sometimes when you, or not sometimes, mostly when you install stuff, it is depending on other stuff, which is maybe not in the newest version, and then you also getting maybe errors while installing or something like this. Just to be safe, just always update and upgrade. I would recommend it to do this at least once a week. And you can do this with, you don't have to type sudo, but you can type sudo apt update. And now it basically scans and search for updates. And it also did found some stuff, as you can see. Now it's done. You know it's done when you always get relieved back to the, as you can see, I can again type, and then you simply type sudo apt upgrade. You hit yes. If it prompts you multiple times, you can multiple times hit yes. You can also type after you, when I wrote the command, you could also type with a space and then a minus and then a W and then a Y, which means you also auto accept it already. So you don't have to manually press a yes and to break up the process like I just did. Now after we done upgrading and updating the system, we can actually start with the things we wanna do. In this case, installing our 1.6 server. So the first thing what we need is, before we even installing steam command or something, we have to install lib32gss, which makes also support 32-bit application in our 64-bit machine, in this case Linux. If you have a 32-bit, I think you don't have to install this. I will, by the way, provide the comments under in the description, so you don't have to manually type it by yourself. You can just do copy and paste. And by the way, when you are inside this view, inside a Linux, you can paste mostly the, when you copy something, for example, which Ctrl-C, or which simply right click and copy, you have to press inside this window and then right click with your mouse and then it pastes it. In case you got confused, because when you press a Ctrl and V, which is usually pasted under Windows, it won't work here. Here it's it with a right click. And then you hit basically enter, and this Y, what you see, what I just previously explained it auto accepted. So you don't have to type yes all the time on each command. You can just type it already. And that's it. We now downloaded the support for starting and executing 32-bit application, which 1.6 is, because 1.6 is really old. And the first thing I always do is ct and slash. Ct means basically you navigate to a path, and the slash is always the home and the main directory of your entire machine. You can type ls, which basically scan any file inside the current folder where you are, and then it prints you out. Then mostly you have a home folder, and I would recommend you to go inside the home folder for such things like installing game servers. Now we are in the home server. The first what I do is clear, so it doesn't look so full. And the first we do is installing steam command directly from Valve. I will also provide the command below in the description. You basically paste it and hit enter. Curl is basically a command under Linux where you can download via direct download links stuff on your server directly. Now if I type ls, you can see tar.gz. So we have similar like when you download a zip folder or a RAR folder from WinRAR, you have to unpack it to get the files. You can do this with this command. important is just the name. So if for some reasons it calls like steamcmd 2 or 24, then you just type 24 and it will also work. So that's the section of the name of the file, and that's the section, the extension of the file. In this case, we just hit enter, and you can see it lists you the files which it decompressed. Now if you type ls, you can see the decompressed files, but you also see still the tar file. It's similar like when you download a WinRAR folder, when you extract the data outside of the folder, the WinRAR is still contained. But since this is a server and we just have, in the best case, to install steam command one time, we can delete the tar file, and you can delete it by rm and then the file name with the extension. And you hit enter. You can also type again ls, and you see it's gone now. What you now want to do is execute the file. How you can execute it on the terminal? I mean, you can see we can double click it since we don't have a visual. So we just type / and then the file name which we want to execute. In this case, it's the steamcmd.sh. Enter. And now it auto updates and auto download the necessary files needed. And we're done. Now we are inside the Steam application, inside the Steam command application, better to say. But we don't remember now the folder. And here comes Windscape in the game. Back to Windscape, we press on new tab. You press on new site. You wanna choose SFTP. FTP and SFTP is the same, just that SFTP is secure. The S in front of this means for secure. So never use FTP. Nowadays you can always use SFTP. And now you see three things: the password, the username, and the host name. If you have a password, you enter it here and anything. The host name is the IP. You type it here. The username is in this case root. And in my case, I don't have a password. I use a key. You can of course also use a key and a password, but then it will anyway prompt the password once again. So I go on advanced, authentication, and then here private key file, and here you basically press here and you select the path of your key. Then you press on save, press the name, my server 1 for example, so you don't have to re-enter this all the time. And then you just simply double click on my server 1. You always wanna accept, you have to accept, otherwise you can't connect. And here we go. You can also go on the root folder, and now you can see how we got inside this folder. We basically type cd/ for the root, then cd home, and then we was here. That's equivalent when we go on the visual SFTP and we simply go inside home, and here you can see the files we just have. So the first thing what we wanna do is creating a new folder, and let's call this Steam. And inside this folder, we press here exit. We just press Ctrl and A, accept the folder itself, and we just move all the file inside this. Just to have a more cleaner view. Of course, now the path is wrong, as you can see, ls. I mean, it's not wrong, but it's not anymore the files for the steamcmd.sh, because we have not to go inside the Steam folder. We know inside this folder. And when I type ls, you can see I see exactly the same file like here. Because we are exactly in both cases in the same folder. Just one is visual and one is in terminal. So, but what we also want to do is, for example, CS 1.6. Let's call it classic, for a classic server, for example. You can name it whatever you want. All what we need is just the path for it. So we can now start the steamcmd.sh. Boom. And then you're gonna type force_install_dir, and then you paste the path. Waiting for user info. Now we have to wait, and now when we again are in this view, you can see we can type, we can continue. Now we have to do something special. After the 25th anniversary update from Valve, we have to execute the -beta Steam legacy version because ReHLDS don't support the after legacy version. So what we basically do is app_set_config 90 mod cstrike. 90 is, by the way, the app ID for dedicated server in 1.6. You hit enter and then app update 90 -beta Steam legacy validate. And now it will download the 1.6 files for start the server of the 1.6 server inside this folder. If we press refresh, you can already see the files slowly getting created. And that's how you can get, you can see it's pretty fast. Refresh, you can already see. And that's clean files from Valve directly, not something modified on something. That's not a pack like you see in other YouTube channels. They're always bad, I can promise you. And now we wait till it's done. So just app 90 fully install it. So we can type quit or exit. In this case I type quit. Then cd point. When you type cd point, you just go on the parent directory of the current directory. Like this. Then let's type clear for make the view clear. We could already theoretically start the server, but for save us all time because it will work, we will first not download all the stuff we need. The first what we're gonna install is metamod. Without metamod we cannot install anything else. Now you can see the folder. We go inside cstrike and we can see here metamod. We have to unpack it here. I do this here like this. And then we simply drag and drop the file inside the cstrike folder, just like you would do on offline mod. After we drag and drop it, we can delete it. We don't need it anymore. And then we press refresh and we go inside add-ons, inside metamod. And the first thing you want to do is new file plugins.ini. And then let's from now on just hit a space and save. So we can see the file is created. And you can see here, DLL is for Windows and .so is the equivalent under Linux. We have to also use the game DLL of metamod, and we can do this by finding the libist file, which is located here. And now we don't have to modify this line because this line is for Windows. You can see already _Linux, and here we have to write the path for the metamod so file. You simply copy paste the same, you hit save, and that's it. Now after we downloaded metamod, we can also download mxx, which is one of the important stuff because the most mods exist in mxx, which is a easy to code scripting language for mostly people who aren't programmers but still want to make mods in the game. So it's more for people like Cleo or something like this. So you basically hit Linux in this case, base package, Counter-Strike, and then let's take the basic, add a base package, and we just do drag and drop add-ons to add-ons. Sorry, we have first to unzip it, like this. I just move it inside his, and then we do drag and drop. Now if you want that the download process is faster, you can always press on proceed in background. And when you do this, 9 parallel tasks, up to 9, will open and download it faster. Because SFTP, and that's one of the downsides, is slow on downloading, especially when it's about smaller files. Now after we're done with the base package, we can delete it and we can unzip the cstrike, and we simply do again drag and drop, yes to all. You simply replace now the files of the base package, and now we can delete all of these folders. After we're done with this, we have to open plugins.ini. We have to go again back and locate the amxmodx.so file, which is located at dlls amxmodx _mm _i386. That's the correct file. If you don't want to type it, you can just press rename, strl and a, and then strl and c, and then you have copied it, and we type in this case add-ons amxmodx dlls, paste it, we press save. As you can see, it worked, it saved, And I will for now on leave this open because we have to also add now rehLDS and reunion. Now, why you would install rehLDS? Because rehLDS, which that you can use reunion, and reunion is basically for also allowing non-Steam players on your server, and rehLDS allows you a lot of modules which are depending on it because it's more secure and better than normal HLDS for servers. And yeah, so basically you go here on releases, you press on releases. After we have no anything of this downloaded, we go back on our Windscape and back on our download folder. We're gonna take rehLDS, and for rehLDS you don't go on this cstrike folder, you go on the main folder of your wall 1.6, and then you click on binaries, you choose Linux 32, and only this you paste inside your server. Okay, now we can delete it again. So with reunion you do basically the same. We need the pre-anniversary version because of rehLDS, and we can do this when we go on releases, scroll all the way down on assets and take this latest one. You can see it on legacy beta version. And on reunion's case, they also have a readme, but it's, to be honest, not so important. We can delete the readme file. The reunion CFG file, I make it so you can see, configuration file, that's a CFG file. We leave it, what is public. We don't need this, you can delete the public folder. MX it, nope, we don't need this, you can delete the MX folder. Binary, and we need the binary, you can move it on here, and you can then else delete the binary folder as well. We just need the reunion.so file and the reunion CFG file. So the reunion CFG file you basically place inside the cstrike folder like this, and the CFG file we just place inside cstrike folder like this. We placed it, as you can see. And then we go add-ons, and now we create a new folder, call it reunion. In this new folder, call it reunion, we simply place the reunion.so file. And now we can delete all these two files, we also don't need this. And now, remember, I don't close the plugins.ini file, and here we can simply write the path, which will be reunion, rename, and then we simply move it here. We hit save, complete, as you can see. I minimize it again, and now we do the last, and it's YPB. YPB is a third-party bot for Counter-Strike. It was, I think, based on the start on Podbot, but I think after a while they made their own bot API. They are the best bots, especially for servers with not so high hardware. They run pretty good, in my opinion, by far the best bots. And you basically download the latest version. Now you see continuous build, pre-release. Don't download this makes your server crash because it's not yet a final release. You always wanna go on latest, which a green box. Here we go back to the cstrike folder because YPB has also already provided us which a structure where we can just copy paste. We just simply copy paste, that's it. And now we wait till the files of the YPB bot are transferred. Now after the files are transferred, we can also delete it. We go on YPB, binaries, and you can see here is the ypb.so file located. Now we open once again the last time the plugins.ini file, and now we write the same for YPB, binaries, YPB, and we hit enter. It worked, you can see, completed. We have now YPB, reunion, and mxmodx. You don't have to type metamod like this, because metamod so it's already loaded by the libist file on the cstrike folder, remember, where we just edited. Because you can use this path and just type it cd and press right click for enter it under PowerShell, and boom, you inside the folder. You can press ls for see all the files. Now you can write clear, and here we go. Now we are on the Valve developer community page. It's basically like a wiki style, and we scroll down and you can see on Linux you can start a server. For example, here's even CS 1.6 as an example. Usually you can paste it and you can navigate with the arrow keys and change the numbers. For example, 32 players. What I do recommend you is the following. I recommend you, because especially when you want to have multiple servers, you want to set the IP and the port. And how you can set the IP and the port? Simple, you just type plus IP. Here you type the IP and plus port. Here you type port. Now, there is one important thing. If you see from other videos or other forum like this, which are minus, don't do this for the simple reason. If you type minus IP and minus port, you won't be able later on plugins to get your IP and get your port, because you can only get your IP and port which set cover string, for example in 1.6, when it is plus, because plus it means it is also available as a cover which returns your IP and port you chose. In this case my IP is this, boom, and as port we take the standard port of 270.15, and we have to delete this, of course, this was just a placeholder for me, and we hit enter. Now we are in the wrong folder. As you can see, it says no such file or directory because we are in the cstrike folder. I see. We have to go outside the cstrike folder. We can do this with cd point. So we have basically to be in this folder. Why? Because we will trigger hld as run. With the arrow keys you can also get your previous command you entered, so you don't have to always re-enter it, and you press enter. And now you see something is happening. Core dumped, this means basically that the server crashed, but this is fully normal. It always crashes on the first time. You simply, now if you ask yourself, I can't type anything, press ctrl and C for escape it. Because with ctrl-C you can always escape, and again you can see I can type. You just hit again the command and let's see if it's worked. And yep, you can see here reunion also reloaded. Anything is working. 9 bots are in the server. Now the server is working and it's running. But just for a showcase we go on mx configs users.ini. Now let's take this example, remove the loopback one. Now I got my Steam ID, I paste the Steam ID here. I give myself basically all rights, and this is just for ignore the password and use the Steam ID. So it tells that's Steam ID. We press save. Now let's test. Add server. I forgot to type IP, but by default it's anyway 27015. Join game. We are inside the game, and now you can see AMX mod menu, and I have all rights. I can select by my slave, and now you would usually, in such a case, you would, for example, download mods, connect you on SQL. If you want, I can make for everything tutorials. You just have to leave a comment. I would, by the way, recommend server to install a MySQL server and so on. You can also install a Apache server for free fast download. Within the same Linux server, everything is possible since this is not a game server. But except this, we already did anything. Now there is just one thing left. Now, since we have now a working server, and I already showcased anything, the problem is, when you leave this terminal, the server also shut down. But we want that the server is always on. How we can do this? We can achieve this with a systemd process, which are systemd service to be very explicit. So we can create a systemd process, which by typing sudo nano etc systemd system, and let's call this, for example, CS1. No, let's call this CS1.6 underscore classic, so we know it's, for example, the classic server, but you can call it whatever you want. .service, we hit enter, and this will be our configuration file. Nano is the how you can type. This is, we basically insert a file now. I have made a template, but I will everything, also the template, just leave in the description so you can copy paste it. It will probably be like something like this in the description, like this. And the description is basically what you can see when you list all systemd processes. Let's call this Counter-Strike 1.6 double server, and then let's make a double point and then classic, so we know it's classic. Now the restart always means it's always on. Also when the game is restarting, RestartSec means how long it takes till it gets restarted. I would recommend 5 seconds, so, because sometimes you wanna restart the server and test it maybe. Then you type home, and you can see this example path is wrong. We just adjust it with the correct path, and the correct path is where HLDS run is located, and this is located on the game main folder, not cstrike, the game main folder. As you can see, HLDS run. So we copy this, and we delete this wrong path. Boom, and we paste it like this. Then we type slash, and then here the command to run it, the example command, and you can see -part. That's exactly what I told you not to do, because for plugins, and I would also recommend IP, as you can see. Then you press ctrl and X, and then you press yes. Boom. Now we have created the file. Now if we enter the file again, you can see it's configured like we did. Now we can sudo systemctl daemon-reload. This basically reloads all service process and look for updated configuration file and so on. Ah, okay, I wrote it like daemon. Haha. No, not like daemon, like I did. DAEM. Sorry, my mistake, I was lost. Sorry. Systemctl enable CS1.6 classic. Boom. Now you can see it works. It enables it. And then we have to start the first time, because at the first time we have always to start it like this. And now you can see it's enabled and present. And let's add a working, I think it's directory. I think it's pasted like this, but let me check first. Actually, yes, it's like this. Let's go on home, CS1.6, classic. Let's save it. Then let's daemon-reload, and let's restart CS1.6 classic. Then let's check the status, and you can see now it's successfully online. So we resolved the issue by simply adding a working directory. As you can see, this can be sometimes the cause of the problem. In this case, the working directory is basically the directory where HLDS run is, like this, and then just type it again and then slash, and then the file HLDS1, and then the start commands, like I just did. I think this is pretty self-explainable. Now, I know it's not online, but we can still see it. And now you see Counter-Strike 1.6 server. And the greatest thing is now, why have we the systemd process done in the first place? So we can now close this. It's not anymore open. And the server is still online. The server is now forever online, as long as you keep the Linux server paid and online. As you can see here. I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. I hope by not cutting out the problems, even I occurred. These are smart problems. Like, this always happens. Sometimes you forget a command, sometimes you forget something to install, sometimes you install maybe the wrong version. These things are totally normal when you work on anything. It's just normal. It's even the #1 smartest person in the world will eventually have such stupid mistakes, because we are just humans. So this is normal. Don't rage instant, don't give up instant. Just try always to, I don't know, ask ChatGPT, ask somebody, or googling around, and you will always find a solution. I hope this tutorial was really helpful. I tried to really be explainable on anything. I tried to explain the purpose of anything, and so on. And if you want more 1.6 server related videos, or CS2 server related videos, or GTA 5M servers, or anything you want, Alt-V, I don't know, then just leave a comment, a like, and join my Discord server, and see you in the next video.